Hi there, my name is Mick Stefanik. I'm General Manager here at the camp, Fighters Heaven, the former Muhammad Ali training camp. The history of this place is pretty amazing. Muhammad Ali came here, began training in 1972, trained for most of his fights here until the end of his career in '81. Before he trained here, he trained down in Miami Beach, and Ali hit a stage in his career where he felt he just wasn't training well, too many distractions, and he gets invited to train on a mink farm. And then there was nothing here. This was all built from scratch. This building here, the gym, was the first one to go up, and then everything else took shape around it, and he called it Fighters Heaven. So the name Fighters Heaven was Ali's nickname for the camp. He trained for a lot of his big fights here. He trained for the Rumble in the Jungle, the Thrilla in Manila. So that included one of two fights he trained here against Joe Frazier. And then he also trained for two of his three fights against Ken Norton. So there were a lot of big fights here. And his training sessions would vary as far as how long he would be here. But for those bigger fights, he'd be here for 3 months or so. So this was kind of a home away from home for him. There's a quote here in the gym that says, I'm more at home in my log cabins than I am in my house in Cherry Hill. It's hanging here in the gym, and he just loved it. He loved it. A lot of people, a lot of his staff, most of his staff, if not all of his staff, was against it as far as he was a showman and he wanted to be in the limelight, and he didn't know if he would have that here. But it ended up that the who's who of the 70s ended up coming to this place. The camp has been restored to give you the look and feel of what it was like during the 70s. Over in his cabin is a pretty neat tourist attraction. People, besides the gym here, people really like what goes on over in his cabin because it's recreated to look like it did off of a video visitors watching there. The mosque across the road is set up. There's really good videos in all of the buildings except for the kitchen. So when people come here to visit and tour the facility, they get into 5 buildings and 4 of them have a video to watch. And the mosque has a pretty deep, interesting message. What's happened over the last year, the state of Pennsylvania has now recognized that there's a historical marker placed on the grounds, and it's also been listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Plans of the future are to continue growing in our school groups, increase our attendance, and we're looking this October to do something. It's the 50th year anniversary of the Rumble in the Jungle, which was the big fight against George Foreman over in Africa.